little Bachelor Nation update. First of all, for us, Hannah Brown is back on Chicks in the Office next week. We're talking about her book. Rhea and I have read a majority of this book. We got access to it to do the interview. We can't talk about what's in the book because it's not out yet. And the episode comes out next week. She'll be on Wednesday's episode next week.
Really great interview, by the way.
Great interview. Now, of course, this is the timeline of things that happen. So she comes on, we do the interview. We have to save it till next week.
Yep.
But, to promote books, as one does, her team gives outlets an excerpt to say oh, buy Hannah Brown's book. Here's what's in it, coming out November 23rd. And so the part that they put out, smart, juicy as fuck, is the part that Hannah and Peter had a reconnection of sorts after Peter was done with his season.
Yes.
So the timeline now is very blurry for a lot of people. Everyone's kind of confused. And everybody is reacting about this. And we talk about this with Hannah, but Peter put out a podcast episode about it too. They didn't know everything that was going to be put out. So Peter's talking about it and he's I'd love Hannah to come on the podcast. Let's talk it out. It's of course you would, Pete. He literally said this is probably going to be our biggest episode ever.
You need those numbers, Pete. We get it.
He's this is probably going to be our biggest episode ever.
Ad dollars are falling short.
We're talking about Hannah. We're talking about Hannah Brown here.
And I'd like to say that and you guys will hear this, in the interview with Hannah, I refer to the story. We didn't know, all these articles came out after the interview, and we were fuck, but I refer to the story.
You'll know what we're talking about.
You'll know what I'm talking about, because I say to Hannah, there's a story about you and Pete that I think a lot of people will find very relatable.
Yeah.
And that is this story that is now going around now. So just a heads up, we recorded that interview before this all came out.
Right.
Now.
And
so,
it's for us to explain our timeline is confusing.
Right. It's what do these two have anything to do with it? We don't.
Everyone's confused by their timeline.
Yeah.
But that's our timeline. But yeah, so, this goes out and everybody's reacting, right? Kelly's liking comments and Hannah Ann posted a TikTok being trust your instincts, ladies. It's
and she's when the real tea gets spilled.
I just kind of want sorry, Pete, I kind of just want a ex-girlfriend roast.
I think it's a
I
John
want
Tucker
Hannah
must die
Madison,
situation.
Hannah Brown, and Kelly Flanagan to just
that would be must watch, and Barb has to be there.
Oh, Trent brought up this idea the other night.
Yes.
He was I just want them to all have a reunion where it's just these girls,
those girls, Peter, Jed, Tyler.
Yes. And Barb.
And
Barb has to be there. And why not? Just for this time only, we bring back Chris Harrison.
I just
for a one time only, we get Chris Harrison in, and we just do this whole thing.
I
because
would pay to see that.
Oh, I would if they
Trent
put it,
literally was that is a pay-per-view event.
Right. If they put it behind a paywall, I would spend $69 on it. I think that's usually how much Fight costs these days.
Yeah.
I would spend that money on this because holy shit, they need it. They all need to sit out and air every part, every timeline to make Peter look like a piece of shit. Because let me tell you, I don't want to go too in on Peter because I know he talks highly of us. He hasn't ever put us down. But I think this man has screwed over multiple women. And I think they're all finding out about it.
A little bit of a fuckboy.
And I think that this book is I think Hannah Brown's book is gonna blow up a lot of things.
You know what's crazy? When he was on The Bachelorette as a contestant, everyone was oh, he's the nice guy. He's the nice. Everyone thought he was a great guy.
I know. And I just the book. We said it with Hannah. We're gonna say it again. And if you couldn't tell from the fact she put this this story is the one that is now in the press. It's a juicy book. There's a lot of good stuff in it,
guys.
It's
so
actually
juicy.
Gonna make Rhea read a full book.
No, I really will because we talked about this with her as well. A lot of times these Bachelor people, they put out a book, or celebrities in general, right? They put out a memoir and you think you're going to get a lot of shit. And you do sometimes. You get a lot of juicy things. I think Jessica Simpson's was one where we were oh, wow, we learned a lot about her, and John Mayer. And Demi Moore, I think that we learned a lot from her too. Mm-hmm. But there's sometimes when you read a book and you're well, this person did this for a money grab.
Right.
Hannah Brown's book genuinely has shit in there that everyone has been wondering and wanting to know about for a long time. And I really recommend people buy it and read it because if you're into this world, you're gonna go whoa, you're gonna be wow, she really gave it to us.
Because there's stuff about everybody else too.
Yes.
Okay, so Hannah, I'm looking at the Bachelor data account, made a whole timeline, right? So Hannah finale, Jed breakup, Tyler C, let's get drinks. That's July 30th, 2019. August 2nd, 2019. Tyler spotted leaving Hannah's apartment. August 4th, Tyler spotted with Gigi Hadid.
Oh my God, the fact that was 2 days apart. Tyler, man, come on.
August 2019, Peter and Kelly meet prior to Peter's season at a party at the wedding situation. Peter's season begins filming September 2019. September 2019, Hannah, after just spending a night with Tyler or whatever, hanging out with Tyler in August, Hannah crashes a date on Peter's season. Lots of tears, she wrote on the timeline. Tyler and Gigi break up October 3rd, 2019. Hannah and Tyler see each other at the People's Choice Awards November 10th, 2019. And then November 2020, Peter's season finishes filming. And then, so now we go to, that's November 2019. That's a typo. November 2019, Peter's season finishes. January 2020, Peter's season starts. Which is also when Peter and Hannah Ann break up in January.
So lost. Wait, you said Peter's season starts?
Yeah, no, Peter's season finished filming November 2019.
Okay.
It aired on TV January 2020, but at that point, Peter and Hannah Ann were having issues.
Yes.
So then Peter and Kelly see each other at the Super Bowl, which she has said, there was some flirtation. And then they're seen together at a club. That's all beginning of February. Hannah, and so this is where this story falls in.
Yeah.
Hannah, apparently, as Hannah Brown said, Peter was like, I want to talk to you. Things didn't work out with Hannah Ann. And then I tried to make things work with Madison, but I don't know where that's at. It's like, I'd love to, let's catch up. And that was after Dylan and Hannah G's engagement party. Hannah and Peter hook up after seeing each other at Hannah G's party. That's February 26th, 2020. So this is why Kelly was on her stories being like, I gotta write a book.
If Kelly Flanagan,
beginning of February,
Kelly Flanagan, I'm pissed right now.
Beginning of February, she had was kind of reunited with him at the Super Bowl stuff.
Yes. And then quickly after that was when the world shut down.
So then February 29th is when Tyler's mom passed away. And so after that, early March is when Hannah was spotted in Jupiter with Tyler.
Mm-hmm. And then everything shut down.
Crew.
And then Peter was at Kelly's in Chicago.
And what the dates she has on here, and Peter commented, he was like, you're missing pretty good, but you're missing some stuff. So who knows, but this is what the public has, right? Maddie and Peter, official breakup was March 13th, 2020. So that's after the stuff with Hannah Brown. And March 14th, Tyler picks up Hannah at the airport. Bam, lockdown. She's in Jupiter. And then Kelly and Peter spotted in Chicago March 26th.
Head spinning.
Head is spinning. There's really not a lot. It's very hard. It's honestly really hard to go through the whole thing.
Hannah make that YouTube video? That was during the quarantine?
That was almost after quarantine.
Wow.
Yeah. Oh, no, that was... Oh, she has it on here. She's so good. Bachelor data. Hannah and Tyler release YouTube title, What Really Happened, October 6th, 2020.
Damn.
A lot to take in.
A lot.
And
a lot.
And these ladies are going to speak.
Yeah,
they're going to start talking because now that Hannah put this in a book and that book's going to come out, all their stories are going to come out.
Right. Someone give Kelly Flanagan a book.
Kelly Flanagan, come on the
her
podcast.
Story, she was like, you guys think I should write a book? Yeah, Kelly, you want to come back here and talk to us?
Kelly Flanagan, please come back on the podcast.
Yeah, we can come back.
As soon as the book's out, you come back on this.
Yeah, and yes, Peter does talk. This is a thing about Peter, right? Behind the scenes, I feel like he might be a little different. He does this stuff on the podcast where it's you listen. I listen to the clip, and it's yeah, Hannah and I were together. And it's but he still only says nice things. And it's I'd really love Hannah to come on and let's talk this out. It's
he's
all right.
He's such a bullshit artist.
Yeah, oh man, but
it's going to be good.
Kudos, Hannah Brown put a lot of her side of things in this book. And we're going to see a lot of it. We're going to have to talk about it again once the book comes out because there's even more. But this is what has been released so far.